It's the return of the Spartan Stampede, voted IPRA Indoor Rodeo of the Year, February 15th to the 17th. See riders test their skills against top caliber livestock in this 3-day event. See barrel racing, steer wrestling, bronc and bull riding, and more. Get your tickets at whartoncenter.com. Seating is general admission with reserved seating available. The 50th Annual Spartan Stampede, February 15th to the 17th, where traditions become legends.
Got a rep.
All right. Just quickly from last week, our approach, I think our job as coaches and mentors is regardless, and we've had this discussion with our guys, regardless of how the weekend goes, be realistic, do a good after-action report and get ourselves ready for the next weekend. That's a little harder to do against a weekend where we lost 2 games to Michigan, but I think there's plenty of things to look at, and our message to the guys would be just that, is that hey, we're a couple plays away from being tied for second place right now. We win one of those games, Minnesota, Michigan, and ourselves are all at 27 points, and I think those games were that close, and that's the way it goes. So we can't lose any swagger. We can't lose any momentum that we had going into the weekend. We've got to play better. We've got to play a more complete game this weekend against Penn State, but we'll learn a little from that, and we'll start getting ready for Penn State, which is a big game on Friday. We still have a chance to do some really good things, and if you look at where we were picked at the beginning of the year and where people thought we would be right now, we wouldn't be in this conversation or have a chance to still host the first round of the playoffs. So, hey, we put ourselves in a good position, and let's play some good hockey here the rest of the way out.
Dan, 2 questions for you. First of all, if someone who didn't get to see the games only saw the goals, I think they would question how Drew played. But when you watched it, I think multiple times left out a little bit by his defenseman to drive. Did you, in this watching the film, see the same thing I thought? I don't think Drew played bad at all.
No, Drew played well. I think Friday he was like the rest of us. He was okay at times, but really good most of the game, and couldn't really fault him, like you said. Hung out to dry a couple of times, and made some other really good saves, and kind of kept us around in that game for a bit. And I thought Saturday night, I thought he was really good, and 2 of them were open. That's obviously nothing you can do on those, but even before that, he was really good, and the kid at the other end, their goalie man played well as well. But no, Drew did a great job and handled the pressure real well, and kept us in that game. It was 3-2 late, and we had our goalie out of the net, and had a chance to win it in large part because of Drew.
Secondly, this is senior night for your guys, and this is a group of kids that could have turned their back on you. You didn't recruit them. You didn't necessarily want them. They didn't come here to play for you, and they didn't. Every one of them bought in. Down the road, Danton, when they're kids that you recruited, it will be different. But is there something special about this group of kids because of those circumstances?
The emotional attachment that you get with young men, and even look at the group last year again. Not a big group. We only have 3 like we do this year, but it was pretty emotional when you look at it, and I think you think back to when you finished and the finality of it, and I remember a lot of things about my time here, but probably the thing that's always in my mind the most is when we were in Minnesota and we won the last 3rd place game that they played in the Final Four, beat Maine, was taking that jersey off for the last time, and that comes back, and it just you get kind of emotional with it, and that's before you get to know the young men. So we spent 2 years with these guys, Mylan, Osborne, and Brennan Sanford, and they've just been dynamite. And we talk to the seniors before every year, and we say that your on-ice performance, your on-ice actions are going to be important, but it's really the off-ice areas that really drive how you remember a senior class. And these guys have been outstanding. They all 3 of them worked extremely hard. They're great teammates. They've all contributed this year quite a bit. They get a lot of ice time, and their leadership's been outstanding. But probably the biggest compliment I can pay to them, you don't always get this with seniors, and if we can keep doing this year over year, it'd be really great, is a lot of times guys in their sophomore or junior year get to a certain level, and that's kind of where they're at, and they work hard and they keep going, but you get a good player, and that's kind of where they stay. These guys have continued to improve even from the first of this year to right now. And that's their work ethic, that's their understanding, that's their buy-in. And if you don't have that from your older guys, you've got a tough locker room. So I'm real proud of them. I think they've got some more to accomplish. You can see it in their eyes that they know it's getting short, but you can also see in their eyes that they're going to play really hard right to the end. So they've been a great group and fun to be around. And it'll be Saturday will be a little emotional. The banquet will be very emotional.
Going off of that then a little bit, I mean, the impact with those three seniors, you mentioned what they've done, off of the ice, but can you think of how they've progressed or how they've improved in the 2 years that you've seen them on the ice?
Well, I think there's some similarities with all of them. I think there's some nuances to the game and some intricacies. They all have very good athleticism. They all have very good skills in terms of handling the puck and skating and things like that. So, but in terms of understanding the game and the little things, whether it's defensively without the puck or offensively without the puck, or when to finish ahead or your closing angle, I think they've kind of bought into that and been excited to learn and been very coachable. And that's maybe from the earlier question, that's one of the harder things with guys that are older when you come in and you change staffs, that sometimes they're, well, okay, yeah, we're gonna, I'm only here for 1 more year, I'm only here for 2 years, I was gonna get through this and graduate, and they're gonna play the younger guys more, their guys, and we just haven't had any of that, but their buy-in has been outstanding.
Dan, this weekend, obviously a couple of sort of tough starts to the games. What do you think caused that, and how do you sort of address that going forward?
Well, hockey's funny that way. It's, you go through waves, and I thought earlier in the year we didn't start real well, and then we were having really good third periods. I think in the middle of the year we were kind of muddling through some things. I think until this weekend we've been having some pretty good first periods. So, the game's 60 minutes, and I think the excitement and the urgency, it needs to be there. And the things that we've mentioned to our guys is that we need to have that right from the get-go. And we don't have that margin of error that we can feel our way through a game for 20 or 30 minutes. We've got to be on and pushing and aggressive from the opening drop. So can you contribute to anything? There's all kinds of things. In fact, these are young kids, and they have classes, they have girlfriends, they have good days, bad days, so a lot of those things go in there, but you really got to block that out and be ready. So I don't think it's a prep thing. I think we'll be ready, but we've got to play 60 minutes, and I kind of thought Fridays was more the middle period. I thought Saturdays, I think we gave up 7 shots in the first period. It wasn't, I don't think 2-0 was indicative. I think shots were 7-5. I think both teams were feeling a little bit. They were able to, connect on our mistakes. We weren't able to connect on theirs, but I thought we played pretty hard, and it comes down to it. It was a 3-2 game. Take out the empty netters. 2 of their goals came after we had pucks on our forehand. One at the offensive blue line, one at our goal line, shorthanded. And hey, got to make those plays, and at crucial times we didn't. But we'll be ready Friday night and drop the puck.
Dan, your team and Penn State have been prone to some high-scoring games this season. Do you think that's going to carry over into this weekend, and are you expecting some fireworks?
Well, you know what? They score a lot of goals. I mean, they're a pretty high-test offense. And they've got 4 lines that really push it. They throw a lot of pucks on net, so sometimes that gets you into those type of games. It should be real exciting hockey. I look back at the 2 games we played against them at the end of last year and the 2 games we played them earlier this year in the Big Ten season, and they've been just very fast games, some good physicality, lots of offensive chances. So I think it'll be really good hockey. But I think if the games get into 7 or 8 goals, that probably doesn't favor us so much. But it should be good hockey, and we don't mind playing fast like that, and that should push our tempo hopefully.